morning, folks. It's the one and only V, the Gorilla Economist, coming to you live on this edition of Rogue News in the Morning on our backup channel, Rogue 420, because YouTube is we're trying to resolve some issues with YouTube. They want to give us a strike, so we are not on the main on our main channel, but hopefully we'll be getting back to that soon enough. And with that being also said, folks, follow us on Twitter at Real Rogue News. It's important you follow us over there. And once we figure out where to go from Twitter, whether it's going to be Gab or something else or whatnot, we'll see. So follow us on Twitter at Real Rogue News. And also check out our paid sponsors, mycbdedibles.com, mycbdedibles.com. And folks, go there for all your CBD edible goodness and deliciousness. It's all there. It's everywhere you want us to, where you want to be. Also, go check out the Patreon. I'll be posting some articles as well as doing some shows over there as well. It's V, completely unfiltered and raw, so go check it out. The Patreon links are in the description box. With that being said, Siege, what's going on, brother? How are you?
Hey V, happy is it Monday? Yeah, Monday.
It's Monday, my man. It's Monday.
Happy Monday. It's the first day of February, and just cannot believe that how fast January went by. But had a great weekend. I hope all of our listeners had a great weekend. And how was yours, man?
So far, so good, man. I can't complain. I can't complain at all. Just relaxing, doing my thing, and keeping busy, brother. That's the only thing I can do, you know. Anyway, Siege, lots of things going on, my friend. Where do you want to begin?
Well, I think we need to start with probably some of the most exciting things that have happened in a minute, and that is what I'm labeling and deeming Occupy Wall Street 2.0 V.
Yeah.
With the really attempt of, I think that people are getting kind of fed up with the corruption that's occurring, and nowhere else to direct their anger to but the markets. And we picked up on this yesterday with a little bit of attempt to again just try to squeeze the silver market. I'm not sure exactly where it's going to go, but it appears that there was a little bit of peak and now there's some sell-off occurring. V.
It's something like, I had clients text me and friends and people that work with me texting me and stuff and saying, hey man, here comes the silver shorts. And I said, whatever jump in price is going to occur is going to happen, and it's going to be short-lived. Folks, you got about $2.5 trillion of actual physical silver that's held by institutions, right? $2.5 trillion. There's about 73 trillion in paper silver. 73 trillion in paper silver. So that is a completely screwed market. Okay, it's a completely screwed market so long as the price mechanics and the price controls lay in the hands of the few. Right? So if they want to go ahead and you can buy, let's just say somebody goes out there and buys $2.5 trillion, all of it. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, somebody goes out there and buys literally $2.5 trillion worth of silver. All of it. All the physical supply. Right? And someone had the capability to do that. Hypothetically speaking. And they're trying to create $2.5 trillion worth of a price jump. Right? Thinking that this is going to cause some sort of a price jump. It's not going to. It'll be a blip on the radar. You'll raise the price to $50. Okay? But then it'll start coming down. Because why is that? Well, it's like a scale. You have $2.5 trillion in physical silver held by institutions in one scale. And on the other scale, you got 73 trillion in paper silver. And guess what? With the paper, they can keep adding to it. Okay? Why do they do this? Well, it's like in the 80s. When the Hunt brothers were trying to corner the physical silver market, what did they started buying up silver left and right. They raised the price of silver to $50, which is back in the 80s, that'd be the equivalent of like $200 today. Right? That's a huge jump. That's a huge jump. So the financial institutions will never allow themselves to get caught with their pants down. All right? And that's why they created the silver ETFs and the paper shorts and naked shorting that you see happening all the time, where several thousand ounces of silver seems to be magically moving ownership with nobody taking delivery of any sort of physical stock. That will change eventually, but not yet. Now, this morning I had a very nice, lengthy conversation, me and one of my business partners. We were talking, we're discussing, and we're talking about the markets, especially with the redditors and what's happening, and a lot of people trumpeting out that this is some sort of a great Wall Street revolution, that they're going to take these guys and they're going to take Wall Street and bend them over the back. No, they're taking hedge funds and bending them over backwards and spanking them, right? They're kicking the teeth into the hedge funds, but it's not breaking the back of Wall Street. There's two different things. Are people waking up to the fraudulentness of Wall Street? Yeah, of course, of course. It's a good thing. And a lot of people are, Occupy Wall Street 2.0. Let me tell you something, folks. Let me tell you how this all ties into place, and watch what happens. Watch what happens. Here we go. Back in 2014 and 15, I spoke at length about who the real head of the Fed was back then under Bernanke and under Yellen. People thought it was Yellen or Bernanke. No, they're not the head of the Fed. It was Stanley Fischer. Fisher, back in 2014, said something that was so profound. Okay? Stanley Fischer. He said, the purpose of the Federal Reserve is to protect the markets. And if that means negative interest rates, then we will do that. And it was at the time when the Swiss Central Bank and the Norwegian Central and a few others, particularly let's just hone in on the Swiss. The Swiss Central Bank started doing something. What did they start doing? They started going into negative interest rates. I've had clients that held Swiss francs in overseas accounts, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, V, we're losing a great deal of value in Swiss franc. I'm like, get out of the franc, move laterally, get the krona, get, whatever, right? So you have negative interest rates that were being done by the Swiss bank. And then the Swiss bank also did something very profound. They started to emulate what the Bank of Japan, the BOJ, was doing, which was buying stock. I mean, it's to the point where the Bank of Japan owns almost damn near 60% of the Tokyo Stock Exchange. The Swiss bank started buying in 2014 and 15 what? Apple and Google. They started buying the FANGs, which you saw the rise of the FANGs. Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google, Apple, the FANGs. Okay? So this all happens for a reason. And now the Dow hit, 30,000 points just like yours truly predicted. And I'm calling it again. I'm saying, hey, you know what? We're going to go to Dow 50,000. Well, folks, here's the thing. And I always say they got to hide the inflation somewhere, right? They got to hide it somewhere. And I said this a while before. I said we're going to head into negative interest rates, which is going to happen, and we're going to head into universal basic income (UBI). It's going to happen. This whole Corona stimulus check, everybody getting $600 a pop in the mail, yeah, that's going to continue. They want to hide this inflation. They need to stick this capital somewhere. So they need to stick that in put it in the hands of people. Now watch this now. This is very key. When you look at what's happening with Reddit, is it an organic movement? 100%. Is it something that is really that's going to change the face of trading? 100%. Right? And this is remarkable. And I'm going to get into CJ. I want you to talk real quick. I have to handle something in the office that just came by.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting because last night there were several tweets, several messages. I know that a couple, at least that I reviewed, SD Bullion. I think there was another one who issued just cautionary information in regards to that they were not going to take any additional orders. As of midnight last night. Now, I have not looked today to see whether they're processing orders or not, and it appears they're flagging due to unprecedented demand. We are currently experiencing shipping delays of 10 plus business days after payment clear. So it looks like they're back up accepting deals. So yeah, so I mean, and I agree with what Peter Schiff stated. Yesterday he released a podcast just in terms of the difficulty of influencing the same thing in terms of the price movement, price action, that occurred with any of the stocks, the publicly traded stocks, just because the market is so much larger than the GameStop and the ability to influence it. But regardless, I think this is one of those unique
All right, I'm
things
back.
where you're back. Okay.
Yeah.
One of those unique things where you see a conglomerate of different people coming together. Go ahead, B.
Yeah. So what I was saying is this. So they need to, number one, do two things. Perception is reality. Number one. They need to keep the mystique and the magic of this wonderful thing called the market going. They need to keep that illusion of the market going. Number one. Number two, they need to give the plebeians, which is us, a chance and a feeling of belonging to something greater. So there's a Reddit revolt of Wall Street bets that occurred with GameStop, with AMC and whatnot, and with the whole debacle and drama with Robinhood, is one of the best things that could happen with the powers that be in Wall Street. What do I mean by that? Folks, in 2015 and 2016, one of the things that I talked about, and even Ken Shorgen mentioned this, and I mentioned this as well, is, and I think even London Paul even mentioned this, if I'm not mistaken. But one of the things I was talked about was the move that this concept that Goldman Sachs and J.P. Morgan was working on. And that concept is they wanted to have Joe Blow go grocery shopping. And when he goes grocery shopping, he grabs himself a bushel of bananas, gets himself some bread, grabs himself some milk, gets himself a strawberry and a ham sandwich, and he's about to go check out. And while he's about to go check out, there's gift cards. Now, we've all seen these supermarket gift cards where, you get, $25 at Chili's, $10 at Starbucks, whatever, right? Well, they have these gift cards that'll be by the grocer's checkout aisle. But instead of a $25 iTunes card, right, you'll have a $100 fractional share that you can buy into Apple, all underwritten by Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan, right? This was a concept that was floated. This was a concept that I guarantee you will become reality very soon. But they need to make it in a way that it would be a cause to roll this out. This Reddit revolt does two things. We seen on CNBC, and I laughed at it, CJ laughed at it, we all enjoyed it. These billionaire hedge fund guys crying because they're getting their teeth kicked in by a bunch of Redditors, right? Guess who's not crying? Guess who's excited about this? Okay? Who's excited about this would be the big players. JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. Why? Just like the fractional ownership, okay, fractional stock ownership gift card idea. They want more people in the market. How do I know that? Simple. We are facing a reality called stagflation. We're facing a reality called illiquidity. There's not much liquidity in the market. We're in a solvency crisis, right? And no longer can the fictitious numbers be done by hedge funds and little prop traders. Okay? They cannot create the type of liquidity needed. These are also insolvent institutions. They can no longer be held account to carry the water to keep the illusion going. What a lot of people think is this is going to be seen as a gift when they crack open the floodgates. And if you notice, a lot of people, you turn on CNBC, you turn on MSLSD, you turn on Fox Business, you read the Wall Street Journal. There's a lot of people that are from the quote unquote establishment that are saying, you know what? Let the Redditors trade. If they win, they win. If they lose, they lose. Let them trade. Let them trade. Let them trade. They want them to trade. Because the powers that be realized this long ago, folks. They realized, hey, you know what? The money is not in making washing machines. The money is in selling the soap. The money is not in the making of washing machines. The money is in the making of the soap. Wall Street does not care whether if hedge fund, ABC hedge fund goes under, right? Because if ABC hedge fund goes under, but they're able to get tens of millions of new traders into the fray, that's what they care about. Because that leads to all sorts of beautiful rehypothecation and derivatives and all sorts of analogous instruments that they could roll out with. They love that because now they're creating volume. They need to hide the inflation, folks. Do you get it? So having this welcome, opening the floodgates, letting people come in, letting these hedge funds fail, and it's about time these hedge funds fails, because what's happening in the finance, and a lot of people are going to mistelegraph this. They're going to think, oh, Wall Street lost its power. They're not. Folks, let me explain something to you, and I say this to the crypto guys all the time. Wall Street doesn't care about crypto. Wall Street doesn't care about gold. Wall Street doesn't care about any of that crap, so long as they control the on-ramps and the exit ramps. And what you're seeing with this new populist revolt, this populist wave in trading, you think JP Morgan's losing sleep over it? No, they're not. They're going to control the on-ramps and the exit ramps. How do I know that? You want to go ahead and buy crypto? What do? Well, you download Gemini, you download Coinbase, you download Circle, you download Cash App, you download any one of these apps, all of which are hooked, line, and sinker into the larger Wall Street institutions, right? The large banks like JP Morgan and whatnot, right? You got to first go ahead and get fiat, number one. And then you got to convert that fiat into crypto. They do that for you. Okay, now you got crypto, you got Bitcoin. But if you ever want to go liquid, guess what? You got to use the banks. They control the on-ramp and the off-ramp. So think about this for a second, folks. All these new traders, the analogy that I gave my business partner was this. The entire stock market is going to turn into like a gym atmosphere. What do I mean by that? Well, if you go to a gym and you know how to work out, you know how to train, you know what equipment to use, you know what diet you need to be on, you know what the hell you're doing, you're going to be fine. They'll allow you to come in and use the facility, go work out. That's going to be a lot of people coming into this new market space. But there's going to be a select group of people, and this is what the hedge funds are going to be. The hedge funds are going to be like the personal trainer, meaning the average Joe Blow is going to come off the street, hey, I'm here to sign up for personal training sessions and I need a diet plan. And that's when the hedge funds are going to evolve in that direction. Well, we understand that, you can't trade. Well, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to trade for you and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Folks, this planned, expected, this so-called, what a lot of people think this revolt, this populist revolt that's happening in Wall Street and trading, this is the best thing that could happen to an insolvent market. They were waiting for this. JP Morgan was waiting for this. Goldman Sachs was waiting for this. Merrill Lynch was waiting for this. They were waiting. They were waiting. Because now you're having tens of millions of people who will have capital to trade. And they get to make 1 million derivatives off of every single one of them. That's what's happening, CJ.
Yeah, I think you nailed it, man. I think that's spot on. And so I think the interesting thing is that where do they go from here? Do these Reddit what do they call the Reddit bandits? I'm not sure what they're calling themselves.
Yeah.
Where do they go from there? And to see the amount of it's kind of funny. Someone stated yesterday it was amazing to watch this because you were able to unite so many different voices, that came together. It was like the Bernie meme whenever he was there with his mittens and his legs crossed. It kind of captivized everyone and really threw a lot of people in a fit. It was kind of funny that you had some of the hedge funds that were actually saying, well, our legislatures need to get involved and regulate this. I mean, how often do you hear financial institutions asking for more regulations, V?
Exactly correct, man. They were crying because they're getting the crap kicked out of them. These managed fund guys, okay, they're done. They're old Wall Street. Wall Street doesn't need them. JP Morgan doesn't need them. Goldman Sachs doesn't need these guys. These mom and pop Citadel hedge fund, whatever. That's stuff from the boomer generation, man. It's over. It's done. We're moving into a faster market, and guess what? A lot of these hedge funds can't adapt. Because one of the things that's been proven is a lot of these Redditors And Wall Street, the old fuddy-duddies who are running these stupid hedge funds like Citadel, they're literally sitting around thinking that these guys on Reddit and these stock bets forum chats, that these are a bunch of uneducated idiots. They're just a bunch of, like what Chamath Halapatia said, that these guys are just like a bunch of bros just sitting around. No, they're not. They're not a bunch of bros sitting around talking like a bunch of bros. These are guys who are doing serious research, and they're arriving to conclusions. They're arriving to solutions a lot faster than those hedge funds, and it's blowing their minds, CJ. We are living in the world of decentralized, high-speed data and information. And a lot of these hedge funds can't get around to that. A lot of these hedge funds haven't adjusted to that. You're going to see them get popped and blown out. The hedge fund that we know traditionally is going to end. It's over with. There's going to be a room and an emergence for hedge funds that are going to be a little bit more catered, a little more different, and they're going to be run a completely different way. The year of, we only take a 2% risk. Those days are over, Siege. The decentralization of Wall Street does two things. It brings new liquidity in. It creates a hot commodity. It creates the biggest FOMO. It'll blow the biggest bubble, and it'll provide a necessary distraction from crypto and commodities and the financial collapse.
Yeah, I mean, just very, very exciting times. Very interesting to be observing this, and you have to question the timing of it, the question of it, why, and why are they attempting to do this now? And I'm a firm believer, V, that part of this is because of the fear of seeing what is currently happening with the climate in DC, where you have pretty much seized any type of, really for the most part, any type of legislative efforts to really bring our country together. And what was this whole like 1 minute spiel with Biden about, I'm not going to sign executive orders. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to, work through a legislature. The people that were elected there represent the people. Yet when you see Biden, I think he's up to 42 executive orders, which combined is more than the last 5 or 6 administrations. I would like to bring a Democrat on, or someone who said that, hey, you know what? I mean, V, could you imagine that if it was Trump that was out there signing these 42 executive orders? I mean, they labeled Trump at the beginning a fascist, a Hitler, and look what Biden's doing. I'm arguing the point that maybe that's all he can remember how to do at this point. He said so brain dead is all he can remember to do is barely is sign his name, V.
Exactly. And he has a terrible time putting his pen back in his pocket after he signs it. It's evident to everyone that Biden is a shell. These executive orders are not written by him. He hasn't even read them. He doesn't know what the hell it is. He's just a placeholder president. He knew that going in. Kamala Harris is a placeholder vice president. She's another useful idiot. The real powers are those that manage him. The real power is the permanent bureaucracy state that manages them, as it was with every single president except for Trump. Trump's case is completely different. And so, this is what we have. And for them to respond with their litany of executive orders, for them to respond by stating, basically, no other certain terms, literally stating that 50% of the country is half the country, more than half the country, are a bunch of potential terrorists, is because they're losing power. They're terrified, and they are just like the United States government is similar to the traditional hedge fund that is getting its teeth kicked in by Reddit, except that the powers that be that really call the shots understand what to do with those guys. In terms of the federal government, they have no clue. It's a bloated, cowardly, mediocre, permanent bureaucracy state that is right now in total and abject fear because it doesn't know which way to turn. It is being defeated from within and from without, and its irrelevancy is quickly coming ahead to it. So this is where it's at, man. And I don't Honestly, it's laughable at this point, CJ. It's laughable because they can write all the executive orders they want. How much of it will actually have real effects in the respective states that you live in, especially if you live in a red state? How much is that going to take into effect? Because we've seen how powerful president's executive orders are. At the end of the day, a state could say, "Go up yours," and there's nothing that anybody could do about it. So it's interesting to say the least, Siege.
Yeah, I think that's the next stage, V. The next stage is we're going to see states draft state constitutional laws that will push back against this, and we see already the impact in terms of the economy that this is going to affect. And I think in part, I think someone in the chat room said it properly. I think it's a lot of these executive orders are really to align with the globalist vision of the world reset, and that is look at the executive order on climate change that he just signed, and we know what that's going to usher in, right? That's going to usher in the new Green Deal, usher in the printing of trillions of dollars.
Yep.
We witnessed this before, right? We witnessed under the Obama administration how many green energy startup companies did the government fund that literally collapsed? Are there any that survived?
No. Solyndra would be the best example. $500 million, put it there by Obama administration, it's gone.
Yeah, and then and again, just the double standard that's associated. So here we are, 42 executive actions since taking office. Here is the list, V. He has more than doubled since H.W. Bush. Tripled the executive actions. Where's the outcry to call him a fascist or a monarchy or self-rule? Where's that unite the country together and work through the legislative, and where's the outcry from the Republican base to say, hey, look, you know what, this is not good. So again, when you look at that systematic failure that's occurring in Washington D.C., the breakdown, it's no wonder that people are looking for an exit strategy, V, in terms of the markets and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Siege, over the weekend, I don't know if you've seen this already. Over the weekend, I had the opportunity to start reading. You remember Patrick Bryan?
Yeah.
Patrick Bryan, the former CEO of Overstock.com, and he was working with the whole Trump election lawsuit, the whole 9 yards. Well, on his website, deepcapture.com, I had no idea that Patrick was actually at one point an investigative journalist. He'd done investigative work and this, that, and the other. I had no idea. So I went on his website, deepcapture.com, and I read literally, and I advise people, go to deepcapture.com and read the article, How DJT, Donald J. Trump, Lost the White House, Chapter 1. Okay? I read Chapter 1, I read Chapter 2. It read like a really, really good spy novel. It read like a really good action novel. I was so impressed by the writing. Okay? Dude, that whole entire narrative was written by somebody who was on the inside of everything that was happening. To this day, he works very closely with Sidney Powell, and he works very closely with General Michael Flynn. And that article, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but I advise you to go read that. There it is, CJ, Deep Capture, and How DJT Lost the White House, Chapter 1. Go there and read that, and then read Chapter 2. Read that. And once you do, and if you come away from reading those things and thinking that there was some sort of a grand plan, and this is all part, the reason why Trump's out of the White House is because it's some sort of a grand plan, read that. And let me know what you folks think. Leave that comments in the comment section. Anyway, CJ, go ahead, buddy.
No, and it's kind of crazy. You would think that at this point, and we know why they're doing it in terms of the second round with impeachment, V, but it's almost like a reality show right now in DC, right? With everything that's taken place, and now they're going to put on another skit, another show with the impeachment trial, an attempt to really stifle any movement heading into the midterms or 2024. So again, I think that this is a very interesting time, and and something in the Discord channel, which if you haven't joined yet, you should. But there's a lot of information shared in our Rogue News Discord. Is that just kind of a consensus that it would really be great at this point if we could find and work towards solutions and get with some of the other alt media platforms that have fallen off and really trying to unite that voice and identifying. And it's going to need to be done by state level in terms of those efforts, V. But my gosh, I mean, if think of it this way, if they maintain this and they continue with this executive orders, all it's going to take is just a couple of little psyops, some false flag events to take place here domestically, which would be the next go round. So they're really going after free speech. They're really going down and shutting down any means of communications among the patriots. So what's the next level of that? That's to disarm the American people. And I think that we just need to be mindful of that. And by the way, I can't remember how many mass casualty events that occurred under Trump versus Obama.
Oh my God, there were so many under Obama. It was ridiculous.
It's kind of funny how that happens, right? It's just like they all kind of went away during. And by the way, during a national downturn in the economy with the whole COVID thing, where many of these states that were locked down, if you look at the violence number, the charts of crime is just literally like off the charts right now. So again, I think that's the next phase as they try to figure out how to determine this. But I think that I think there is light again at the end of the tunnel, because we're witnessing, like a perfect example is in California, where they're basically at this point ready to recall Gavin. Is it Newsom? Gavin recall him and the millions of people. So again, I think people are waking up to this. I know yesterday in California there was actually they actually stopped. There was a vaccination thing taken care of. I can't at one of the stadiums, sports team stadium. And there were protesters there that actually shut down the vaccination thing. So again, I think humanity is waking up to the level of tyranny that is literally like facing us head on right now, V.
Absolutely right, and there's a lot of pushback. So it's there's one way to surmise what's happening right now in this country. It's a crap show. There's a lot of political theater. Now, you could sit there and panic and hyperventilate yourself about Biden and his stupid executive orders, which will probably see the most amount of implementation in blue states like New York and California and Illinois. You could sit there and hyperventilate about the Green New Deal and all that other nonsense. Or you could be like these Redditors, take life by the balls, and make a crap load of money, because there's so much money to be made in trading. And money, though it's not everything, it is the major cushion and a tool that will give you the leverage in order to mitigate anything that these idiots can do against you. It is your tool in order to amass resources. It is your tool to get your family and your assets, in a safer position. It's your tool to change your life. Folks, this whole thing that's happening is going to be crazy. Dow 50,000. The physical economy is going to be dying the death of 1,000 cuts. Manufacturing will collapse, but the Dow will be at 50,000 points, and there's going to be people that are going to be involved, who's going to put their head down, their nose to the grinder. They're going to learn the trade, and you know what they're going to do? They're going to make a crap load of money. There's going to be a whole bunch of new people. That'll be, 100,000-aires who are going to be making several hundred thousands of dollars a year. There's going to be new millionaires being minted. There's going to be new opportunities. People that are going to create new businesses, new ideas, new innovations. You should be excited. A lot of crazy crap happening, but you should be excited. The Chinese word for chaos and opportunity is the same word, CJ. Go ahead, bud.
Yeah, so obviously we're witnessing the attempt in Russia right now with the color revolution. And as we stated last week, or maybe a couple of weeks ago in one of the shows, we talked about the change of guard and how that was going to impact the Middle East, and in part with the Saudis and their attempts. Again, we know that, for the most part, Israel and the Saudis have had a hard on for a long time with Iran. And this just broke today, V. I'm not sure if you've read this yet, but lo and behold, look, Iran is weeks away from enough nuclear material for a bomb. Here we
These
go.
guys, they're such a joke. They have nothing new to say.
Here we go.
Oh my god. I love it. It's hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Iran is moments away. What's he gonna do next? He's gonna have a picture of a bomb with a red line across it, like Netanyahu did back in like 2013 at the UN. We're having the red line is being crossed right now. Unbelievable. It's. I'm so sick of these people. Give me something original. They're so boring, CJ.
It's like they bring out the same playbook, right? It's like let's run the 23 dive, one more time and run it 4 times in a row, or let's run it the entire game on first down. It is. It's ridiculous, and but this is what we're facing now with this shift in foreign policy and how this is going to impact us in the United States. So we just need to be mindful of all these things that are occurring, and paying attention, and like what you said, V, the last 3 years, 3.5, 4 years, we had a little bit of buffer to put plans in place, but now there's no waiting. It's got to be done to listen to commentators, to news platforms like Rogue News that are giving you accurate information, that are trying to find solutions to help as we navigate through this. But the battle's not over. The fight is not over. We are literally just beginning, V.
Yep, exactly correct. And with that being said, folks, we're at the end of the program. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share. Get over to the Twitch channel. Get over to Twitch. Download Twitch on your phone. Download Twitch on your device, on your whatever it is. Get us, get us over there. The Twitch channel is going to be where it's at. And folks, we are revamping the entire Rogue News site. So when that's unleashed, all of our stuff will be there. All our live shows will be there. Get ready. It's going to be rocking and rolling, and we'll be back. We'll be back on the main channel, and also follow us on DLive. Siege, how many platforms are we on at this point, Siege?
Well, we've been looking at different platforms, and the important thing is to make it seamless. That's the thing when people say, well, why aren't you here? Why aren't you there? It's the platform that we use basically integrates the current technology that we go to, so it's not a manual process of downloading and uploading. Those things can become very tiresome, especially as much content that we put out. So as long as we can plug it in to our streaming software and it's there automatically, then we will sign up. But if it's a manual process until they integrate, eventually we will get there. It's just going to be a matter of time, V.
So, yeah, because on average our shows are like 40 minutes plus, 40 minutes an hour, sometimes even more, and kind of record, then download, then upload and edit. It's Siege and I, we have a talent. We're like one of the few shows that we just go live, man. We don't care. There's no script. We just go for it.
Yeah, no editing. Just once it's there, it's there for the most part, unless YouTube decides to mess with it a little bit. But yeah, and again, I think it's just one of those things that hopefully everyone is searching for those alternative platforms right now. So again, you're right, V. Twitch, DLive. We're building up our audience there as well. So there's, again, I think as we move forward with this, some of those other systems that are coming on board, Float's a great avenue for social platform. Float is decentralized. We have interviewed the CEO before, and our streams are there as well. That stay on the site. They don't fall off. So again, there's several ways of listening to us on a daily basis, V.
Absolutely. And with that being said, folks, we are at the end of the program. Follow us everywhere, as CJ says. And I think the links are all in the description box. And with that being said, we're over and out. Take it away,